a few weeks ago, I made a game for Ludum Dare 50. Most of these games made quick end up getting tossed out, or neglected, or whatever. But people seem to like this game. So I'm gonna go back and see if I can make it shine. Starting with the most useful thing to go to, which is the feedback. I went through all the comments on the game and suggestions that people gave me and put together a list of the things that made sense to fix. So let's speed run through those. The first issue was how when you died, you just moved positions back to the starting point, and if your finger was still on the key, you'd keep going in that direction. I was hoping to set it up so that you just turn off the behavior, and then when you landed on the ground again from the spawn point, you'd get the behavior back. But gravity is a part of that behavior, so if I did that, you would never fall and touch the ground to reset the behavior. So as much as I don't like doing this, I had to go in and change it so that the controls were independent from the behavior itself. So I could turn off the controls, but leave the gravity on. And while this was a pain, it was better for later down the road, so it's fine. Before I moved on to the next issue, I was feeling a little extra and decided to make an animation so that when you fall and land, you have to go through this little recovery animation before you got your controls back. And I think that looks nice. The second issue. The game has variable jump height, which I think is good. But what that means is you're holding onto the spacebar for the majority of the jump. So if you're jumping over to a ledge and you're trying to grab it, the character jumps again because you've still got the spacebar held. And even though I solved this with a simple true-false Boolean variable, it did take me an embarrassingly long time to do because I had it in the wrong order. So the command to jump, if on ledge, was being checked first, and then after that it was checking the Boolean variable. So that was a chunk of my day that I'm not getting back. The third issue. Not really a bug, but in my rush to get the game finished, I put the arrow in the wrong direction, and some people thought there was a secret there that they were supposed to figure out. Oops. The fourth issue. The main menu was kind of boring, so now it highlights.
Wow.
The fifth issue was actually a big one. Optimization. And oh boy. For some people the game ran fine. For others it ran like PowerPoint. So I first had to find out what the issue was. So I set the tutorial text at the bottom of the screen to show an FPS counter. And then I would just track what exactly would cause the lag by turning some things off and turning some things on. But apparently your FPS can't be higher than your screen's refresh rate. So no matter what I tried, I would only ever get 60 FPS. So that was kind of useless. So instead I had to try to learn how to use GDevelop's debugger feature and basically run the game and then check to see what caused the most lag. And from this point, it gets real tedious and boring, so I'm gonna just breeze past it. But basically, instead of using a pre-built thing that I had copied into my game, I created my own system for checking where the blades were and determining when they should go back. This, of course, took a while, and there were some issues. Reducing some file sizes and some magic. Hopefully the game runs a little better now. Then we got to some feedback that changed the course of the whole game. There were two groups of commenters. One group saying, "Yo, make the game harder, I want this to be a rage game." And then another group saying, "Hey, if you added a timer, I would speedrun this game." And to be honest, I was kind of torn. But I think after looking up some other games online, I can't really call what I made a rage game. Hard, sure. It'll make you frustrated from time to time, but not really rage. So what I ended up doing was chaining the levels together 1, 2, 3. The death counter is a global death counter. And, to be a jerk about it, it saves. So even if you load the game back in, it'll have saved your deaths. Which turns that metric into a fun little side thing. And then I created a speedrun mode, where you would get a timer that shows up, and it would track how long it takes to get from level 1 to the end of level 3. Speaking of timers, it seems really silly that the way to round to a decimal in pure code is to multiply it by 10, round the number, and then divide it by 10. That just seems really silly. I looked up how to do this for a few other engines, and it seems like most engines handle this differently. So yeah, comment down below and tell me how your engine handles rounding to the nearest decimal. Because that's the random thing that I found interesting today. Where was I? Right, timers. So GDevelop, the engine that I use, is working on a feature that lets you just slap leaderboards into your game. And so now I have a timer system with a variable that's being tracked that I can just slap a leaderboard onto. So Control-C, Control-V, ta-da, leaderboard. And strangely enough, figuring out how to get someone to type their name in was actually the hardest part. Oh, and the game saves now. Like, everything. So, if you get to level 3, but don't beat it and get to the speedrun mode, then you don't need to worry because you can come back and play it later. And the coolest thing happened before the first day even ended. I had 2, count 'em, 2 playthroughs of the game sent to me, one of which was a speedrun where somebody decimated my score. And like a parent whose kid just beat them in an argument, I could not have been prouder. There is something so inherently cool about creating a game in a month and then watching somebody burn through it in under 2 minutes. So even though I wanted to add more levels and maybe a boss to the game, and I didn't get to do that, I'm pretty happy with the result. And who knows, if this game keeps getting played, I might go back and add some more levels. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, be sure to do the whole YouTube thing. And a huge thank you to my patrons. Because of them, my coffee cup is full, and I can even afford sugar. As always, the links to all the cool places that I hang out are down below, and if you decide to click on one, then I'll see you there.